All right, welcome to the lesson 5 of Psychology of Trauma. In the first 4 lessons, we talked about the triune brain, how the brain is structured to produce instincts, emotions, and thoughts, according to the Dr. Paul MacLean's triune brain theory. Then we spoke about the nervous system, and then we spoke a little about what is trauma and how to recognize trauma. Now we are ready to start reading Peter Levine's book. Did anybody read it already, the first 3 chapters? I hope some of you have read it, because if you read the book before the class, you'll get a deeper understanding of the subject. No one's read it? Okay, Selena read it. Great. We have one person, the pride of the class. Thank you, Selena. Nilüfer read it also. Beautiful, Nilüfer. Thank you. Yes, please be sure to read it before class. Then you'll understand better and you can ask questions. So, today we're starting Peter Levine's book, Waking the Tiger. Before everything, who is Peter Levine? In the field of psychology, guys, since the late 1800s, there have been a few people that have been very important in the field of psychology that were able to connect different disciplines of information and come up with a new ideology, a new way of looking at things. Freud was one of them. Murray Bowen is one of them. Carl Rogers is one of them. B.F. Skinner is one of them. I'm sure you've heard all of these names. Maybe Beck is one of them. Peter Levine is one of them as well. He is the psychologist that opened up the field to body-oriented psychology, to somatic psychology. Peter Levine is a academician. He has 2 PhDs, one in psychology, so he's a psychologist, and one in what's called, one second, one in medical biophysics. So he has a very good understanding of how the physical body works in a biological level. He understands the functioning of the cells and the membranes and all the different subsystems in the body. So he was able to combine the field of psychology and biology. After he graduated from school, he worked for a few years in NASA, in the space program, as a stress consultant to the astronauts. So they would put the astronauts under different types of tests and stressors, and they would see how their bodies react to stress. And they would try to come up with ways to alleviate the stresses of astronauts. So this is how Peter Levine started thinking, what is stress in the body, and what can I do to alleviate stress from the body? And his search brought him to study animals. He was thinking, all animals in the wilderness, they go through a lot of trauma. They lose their children to predators. They lose the member of their packs to predators. Heavy rains, earthquakes, drafts, and really dangerous situations, but they don't get traumatized. Whereas us humans, my girlfriend dumps me and I'm traumatized. I have a car accident and I'm traumatized. I have a fight with my boss and I'm traumatized. So what happens that animals go through such hard situations and they're not traumatized, and humans do get traumatized? This is where he started thinking about trauma. So if you look at humans and animals, I put a few pictures in here of different nervous systems, of a bird, of a snake, of a frog, of a cat, of a sea star, and a human, and a lobster. If you look at it, there's always a spine in the system that carries the information from the body, from the senses, to the brain, and from the brain to the organs. And the one objective of the nervous system is to keep us alive. No matter what happens on the outside, is to keep a stable environment on the inside so that we can stay alive. And it does this, like we talked about in the last few weeks, it does this by producing instincts, impulses, emotions, and thoughts, right? If you look at the lobster, the one on the very bottom, lobsters are one of the most ancient animals in the kingdom of animals. They've been alive. They've managed to survive so many different phases, so many different eras, and they have the same nervous system as we do. So there are certain commonalities between us and all these animals. What are those? The common points are we have instincts to mate. If you are a living being on this planet, you are fueled with an instinct to mate, to bring the next generation, to keep the survival of the species, right? In the human terms, we call this love, right? We write poems about it and we make movies about it. It's just an instinct to breed so that the life continues. All animals have that. What else we have? We have an instinct to fight or flee or freeze when we are threatened, just like all animals. When the situation is calm, we are socially engaged, we are doing fine. But whenever there is a threat in the environment, we go into either fight or flight, and if that doesn't work, we go into freeze. Another instinct we share with all the other animals is we are looking for fuel all the time. If I put Doukan in a room and I don't feed him for 2 days, if he's hungry for 2 days, after he gets out of the room, his mind will be precisely focused on food. He won't be able to have any other conversations than about food. He won't be able to think anything else about food, right? So our nervous systems define where our attention goes, depending on what our physiology needs. So if we can mate, if we can have a safe environment, if you can enough food, then the last thing that we share with all the animals is our instincts to improve the living conditions. All animals want to live in an environment where there is plenty of food. Gazelles, they go by the water. They go by where the green is, right? Predators, they go where the prey is. So animals go to locations where there's better access to food and there's better living conditions. Just like us. Why do I go to school? Why do I try to improve myself? Just so that I can have a better living condition in my life. I have enough money. I can choose a living place where food is accessible, where social life is accessible. So these are the common things that we have with all animals. Now, if you look at my body, at the end of my spine, you will see my shoulders, my elbows, my wrists, my hands, my fingers. All these extensions of my body, they are designed so that I can live in nature, so that I can run after animals, so I can climb trees, so I can swim, so I can jump and do all kinds of physical activities, right? I'm designed to live in nature and to move my body in nature as a human being. Again, the design of my body is so that I can move in the nature, just like animals. Think of the hunter. The objective is to find food. When the hunter detects a prey, immediately the nervous system starts to create a certain energetical activation, a triggering, right? The animal's heart starts beating faster. The animal's blood rush to his muscles, so he starts to wake up. His breathing starts to deepen. He takes more breath, to get more oxygen into the system, to get more fuel into the system so that it can move better, right? So hunter gets ready to find food, and it uses its raw muscle power to get the food. It uses its teeth, its claws, its hunger reflexes to run after the prey. And if you think about it, the same thing with the prey. When the prey detects the danger, and they're equipped with very sophisticated radars, very sophisticated smelling system, and a vision that can detect details from far away, their system gets activated, and their heart starts to pump faster. There's more blood going into these veins with more pressure, more oxygen intake into the lungs, right? And these animals, the prey, uses their resources to stay alive. Their radars, their reflexes, their speed, their agility, their acceleration, from zero to much faster speeds they can go in very quickly, and their endurance, meaning they can outrun the lion. They can keep running and running and running, and the lion cannot keep up with them. The lion will get tired because there's too much muscle and too much blood needed in the muscle, whereas the prey can keep running to lose its tail, right? So if you think about it, the nervous systems of the animals determine their behaviors. There's no confusion here. There's a simple task. Animals move. The system gets activated both in the hunter and the prey, and the goal is simple. For the hunter, catch the piece of meat. All systems locked into one single point of focus, run. As for the gazelle, as for the deer, the same thing, nervous systems activate, mobilize all the energy. Goal is simple, move away from the danger. All systems locked into a single point of focus, run. So their bodies, as soon as the energies start to come up, their bodies start to discharge the energy. This is a very, very, very important point, so please pay attention. When the body starts to get charged with energy, they start to discharge that energy in a purposeful manner. The hunter to run after food, the prey to run from danger. So the energy is mobilized, energy is created, and it's used right away. There's no waiting. Nothing stays stuck. Nothing stays stored. Nothing stays repressed. No energy is hidden. Very straightforward. Is it clear up to this point? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Great. Great, Ceylan, Elif, thank you. But when it comes to humans, it's a little bit more complicated. When it comes to humans, it's a little bit more complicated. Why? Because the threat is different in humans. I don't have to run from lions anymore, but I have different threats. Am I going to be successful? Are they going to like me? Will I have enough money? And now your generation has to worry about social media. What am I going to post on Instagram? Oh, Ayşe posted and she got more likes than I did. And I posted and no one liked my post. This is a social threat. This is an emotional threat. Am I going to be successful in my work? Will I have a good relationship? Will my parents approve what I'm doing? All of these threats are real threats for us. So the threat doesn't have to be physical anymore. The danger is more perceived, is more emotional, is more mental. And please remember that the nervous system is a very old technology that dates back to millions of years, back to animals, back to lobsters and dinosaurs and fish. It kept all of these animals alive. It kept us alive up till now, but it didn't adapt to the new conditions yet, right? It didn't adapt to Instagram. It didn't adapt to the social media, to the dating apps. So our nervous system is an old technology that works as if as if our life is threatened. It hasn't developed the nuances, the details, the sophistication yet. So when the energy is mobilized, when the energy is charged, what I have to do, I need to stop it. I need to control it. I need to block it, right? When my boss speaks to me in a certain way and I get upset, my body wants to run or kick. I can't do that. I have to stop it. If my girlfriend leaves her phone on the table and I catch a message that makes me feel uncomfortable, what do I want to do? My body wants to throw something, yell and fight, but I can't do that. If someone passes me in traffic, I'm sure the ones who are driving in Istanbul, you're familiar with this. Many times you get so upset you want to kill someone in traffic. You want to be violent, but you can't do these things. So when these energies inside your body, they get mobilized, we have learned to stop them and control them. Because I don't have the luxury to be like an animal in the society, right? So blocked energy means trauma energy for the human physiology. The difference between discharged energy and stuck energy. We have been conditioned to be a certain way from the day we are born. Right? You have to behave a certain way so that your parents approve you. So we have learned to block and repress our energies constantly. Have you ever had this experience where you're walking on the street by yourself and you're having a conversation with someone that you're upset at? Right? This happens to me all the time. I wanted to have this conversation with Esra, but I couldn't because she sent me a text and I didn't get a chance to speak to her. And I have all this energy built up in me, and I'm driving in my car, and for 20 minutes I'm having this conversation with her. I'm telling her things, or I'm walking around and I'm just constantly talking to someone. Do you have this experience? It's like I want to have this conversation, but I can't. So the energy that's stuck on the inside keeps moving on the inside. If the energy is released, my body comes back to its natural state and it can be in the moment. If my energy is released, I can be in relationship with you and be present to you. If that energy is released, I don't have to hold on to anything. I can flow. But if that energy is not released, part of me is stuck in that fight mode. So my relationship with you, I'm coming with the fight energy. Not that you caused anything, but from the past, I'm bringing that residue of energy to you. So the life energy in the body wants to be set free, wants to be released. If it doesn't get released, it will create countless symptoms. It will create symptoms. If that energy is stuck in the body, you will have mental symptoms, attention problems, confusion in the head, wrong decisions, some emotional symptoms, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, crying, feeling just not good. You can have social symptoms, you can have behavioral symptoms, all kinds of symptoms because of that repressed energy. So this is how I'd like you to think about it, guys. Please look at this picture. Peter Levine, I think at some point in his book, I wish you have read it, none of you have read it, but the two, it talks about humans and it uses the term the human animal. It uses the term the human animal. If you can use the organism of the human animal, according to its manual, user's manual, everything is fine. We're very healthy, very happy, highly functional, sophisticated beings, and our systems constantly come back to homeostasis, constantly comes back to normal. When there's an energy charge, we release it and we come back to normal. But if that energy isn't allowed to be released, then it looks like a wild animal stuck in a cage. Because you block that energy, you repress that energy, and you lock that energy in a cage. Imagine a wild animal inside the cage, that you take a lion or a wild rat or a wild horse and put it in a small cage. That animal will go crazy, will do anything to its power to get out of this cage. It will scream, it will kick, it will raise hell. And that is what symptoms are, right? It's the energy that's stuck on the inside will create a bunch of symptoms. In Turkish, many of you know this expression, keskin sirke küpüne zarar. The energy that's stuck on the inside will constantly eat you up from the inside. No? So I want to take a quick break here and ask any questions. Is this all making sense? Is this clear to you guys? It's good? Okay. No questions? Good. So now that you understand so far, let's talk about trauma symptoms. Trauma symptoms can be open or covered or closed. I remember I told you about my sister, one of the classes, that she had an accident when she was a kid, a car accident. Whenever I'm driving, she's with me. I hit the gas a little bit and I can sense that she's getting nervous. When I hit the gas a little bit more, she turns to me and she says, Mehmet, please slow down. To me, this is a very clear sign of trauma. It's very open. But to someone who doesn't have this eye, they will not understand that this is trauma. So for them, it will be covert trauma. It will be hidden trauma. If, let's say, Asude comes to my consult and she tells me that she's been in 3 relationships and she's been cheated on 3 times and she doesn't trust anybody in relationships. When she says, I don't trust anyone anymore, to me, that's a very clear sign of trauma, that this person has developed trust and openness to someone, was betrayed, felt lots of pain, and her nervous system organized around that pain and said, I'm not feeling pain anymore. I'm not going to trust anyone. So to me, it's a sign of trauma. But to someone else who doesn't understand trauma can look at the same case and say, this is a personality issue, right? To me, it's a very humane thing. And psychologists, they love diagnosing people like this. Oh, I hear all these horrible things from my clients. This one psychologist told me that I have trust issues. What does that mean? You have trust issues, right? So from now on, when you listen to people's stories, please start to think, what is underneath the story? What's the depth of the story? Why is this person having these symptoms, right? Same event can affect people in different way. Let's say Asude and I, we're in the same car accident. Chances are we will create different symptoms after that. Asude will have less symptoms and I have more symptoms, or vice versa. There are many factors that go into it. How the traumatizing events have been dealt with, how much resources you have had to deal with, Have you been able to talk about it? Have you been able to get some help? All of that stuff, we will be talking about it in the future chapters. But just because people have the same incidents doesn't mean that they will have the same symptoms. Human body, human mind is very complex, and they get impacted in very different ways. In the book, I think it was in the second chapter, there are 3 cases of Bob, Nancy, and the businessman's daughter. I don't want to go into them too much here. I wish you had read the book. So please read the book right away and read these chapters, read these cases. Bob is a student whose class, all of his classmates, maybe 20 of them, they've been abducted. They've been by some bad people, and they've been put in a house, and they had some traumatizing events. After that, they were also speaking to psychologists, and they all created symptoms, but Bob didn't come up with any symptoms. Bob was had very, very little symptoms, almost symptom-free. So psychologists did analyze the situation. What has happened to Bob that he didn't have symptoms and all the others did? It's a very interesting case. It's all about the stuck energies on the inside, so please read it. And the case of Nancy, where Nancy is the client for Peter Levine, where Peter Levine realizes that we need to awaken the tiger inside someone. So Nancy had this blocked energy that Peter Levine calls the tiger, and she's able to awaken it and then move through her trauma. And then the businessman's daughter, that's the young girl who's had trouble sleeping after she had some medical procedures. So please read those cases. What else? So here you understand that traumatic symptoms are not just psychological, but also physical. And we will learn more in the book that humans are born with the innate capacity to heal their own traumas. I'm going to repeat that again. We don't have to live with trauma. We have the capacity to heal the impacts of trauma. We just need good guidance, and we just need good support. Our bodies, when we get wounded, when our bones break, when our skin opens up, our body heals those things. The same thing with trauma. Our bodies know how to heal trauma. We just need good guidance and good space, right? But unresolved traumas, unhealed traumas, will result in lowering the quality of your life. Okay? Any questions up to this point, guys? I know this is quite a packed information. Do you want to take a break for a few minutes? Are you okay? Should we take a 5 minutes break? Again, is not even in the it's not even in the lesson. Here's my email again. Do you have any questions about the lesson, about what you're hearing? Okay, so no break. Okay, so look at the nature. I found all these pictures of these trees in the internet. They've all been wounded. When a tree is wounded, it continues to grow around its wound. It does not stop. It finds a way to grow. For example, look at the picture number 3. The tree in picture number 3 was growing, and then it was hit by a lightning, I presume. But it didn't die. It spent some years being confused, and then its life energy picked up and it started going back up again. Look at the picture number 4. That tree was able to split through a rock to find its way up. So all human forms We have this life energy that wants to go up, that wants to heal, that wants to go forward. And if you think about it, that's the similarity between a psychological and a physical wound. There's a life force that wants to find its way. If my leg is broken, what I need to do is to put the bone in the right place, put it into a cast so that it doesn't move, so that it's resting, and it heals itself. The same thing in a psychological wound. If, let's say, Asude comes and says, I can't trust anyone. I've had too many problems in the relationships. I'm not going to diagnose her and tell her you have a trust issue. I'm going to show her that I understand her, that it's okay to not to trust anyone because of these wounds, that it must be very difficult to trust anyone. I will show her that I understand her. I will show her that it's normal what she's going through, and I will explain to her what the nervous system does and how it works to protect her. And then I will create a relationship with her where she can start to trust me. I will model a relationship where trust is possible, where boundaries can be set clearly. So the healing will start in the session with the psychologist. That just like a broken leg, a broken trust, you set the right conditions and the trust grows again. So from now on, please, I'd like you to start thinking that way a little bit. When you see a friend, when you see a client, when you see someone in your life with strange behaviors that you don't understand, with so-called symptoms, think about it. What has happened that has caused this person's nervous system to behave in this protective way? How can I understand the actual mechanics of what has happened rather than just putting a label? Oh, this one has depression. Oh, this one has anxiety. Oh, this one has OCD, BBD, FIFID. There are millions of labels out there, and most of the time, believe me, they don't help. Right? The field of psychology is going very diagnostical. We have to be more understanding and more relational. Um, so Peter Levine quotes in the book, it says, symptoms are incomplete protective psychological responses frozen in fear. I'm going to repeat this. Symptoms are incomplete protective psychological responses frozen in fear. Now, do you understand this sentence after everything we've talked about? Is this making sense to you? All right, it doesn't make sense to anybody. Huh, really? Oh, now I understand it. I got one student who understands it. Great. Okay, Yamur understands it too. Okay. Do you want me to explain it one more time? Is it pretty clear? Okay. All right. So unless these reactions, these incomplete reactions, complete their life cycles, the symptoms remain in the body. Okay. Now, trauma is not an illness. Trauma is not a sickness. When you see someone in trauma, don't think that they're sick. It's a dis-ease. Their ease have been compromised, right? Their flow of life energy has been compromised. But both humans and animals, we have the capacity to shake off the stuck energies with the right guidance. And all kinds of events can shake us, can challenge us, no matter how small it looks on the outside. So someone can tell you their troubles, their stories, and you might think, oh, this is very small. Stop overreacting. This is a big judgment. Everybody has a different life story, and even the things that you think they're small can traumatize people in different ways. So you have to learn how to look at these situations in an objective way, right? So that's why we need to investigate it and understand it very well. Again, please read the book as soon as possible and read the chapter 2 and all these examples on Bob and Nancy, because they explain very well the energies that get stuck in the body. So my last point is, where do I place my attention as a psychologist? Where do I place my attention as a psychologist when someone comes and tells me about their traumas? A lot of psychologists, they place their attention on diagnosing them. Oh, you have OCD. Oh, you have borderline personality. Oh, you have bipolar personality. Or you can place your attention on the symptoms and what has happened to produce these symptoms. And you can place your attention into, how can I explain to this person that this is what's going on in their body, this is what's going on in their system, so that they don't think something is wrong with them, so that they normalize the situation, so that they feel like they're okay. Yeah. Do we have to love with trauma? No, I wrote it wrong. I'm sorry. Do we have to live with trauma? And the answer is no, we don't. We can heal trauma. We just need to understand how it happens, what it is. Usually psychologists, they go into fixing problems without understanding what happens. So it's very important to really understand the mechanics of what's going on inside people's traumas, really clearly define them, and then move into fixing them or healing them. All right. That is it, folks, today for me. Any questions? Anything you'd like to share? Anything you'd like to share? Nilüfer says no. Nawar says, are we going to learn how to heal in this class? Oh, Nawar, it's not it's not all that simple. There are different tools and different techniques and many different ways of looking at it. In this class, what I want to give is the way of thinking about trauma, is a perspective that you can think about, is a point of view of looking at trauma. Because if you start to look at it in a certain way, then you will have a chance to think about how I can heal it, right? So I'm going to talk about different healing modalities. I'm going to touch on healing all the time, but this class is about understanding trauma. What is it? So when you finish this class, I'd like you to be able to see people and then understand what has happened to them, right? If you can get that step well, healing will come easy. Yeah. Yeah, 2 plus is, yeah, it's actually pretty mathematical. It's actually pretty mathematical, but it's very complex formula. It's not just 2 and 2. It's an algorithm that is very sophisticated, and you as a psychologist need to know a lot. You need to train a lot. You need to have a lot of experience. That doesn't mean it's impossible. It's very possible. You can become great psychologists, but you have to understand that you have to really have a good understanding of what it is, and you have to understand the tools and techniques very well. So it is a mathematical formula, but not a simple one. All right, kids, enough for today. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. Yeah, I don't have a YouTube channel, but I have a Instagram account, and I will start putting some videos soon. I'm working on them. If you want to follow, I can share this here. And I do have some training programs that I'm offering, mostly for people who are already in the field. That this might be a little early for you guys, but if you want to follow me, please be my guest. And yeah, soon I will have more products online. All right, Elif. So next week we are doing chapters 4, 5, 6. Please read it and come. Please read it and come. Okay? You're welcome, Nawar. All right, kids. Have a good week. See you next week. Bye-bye.